It is 30th January. On this day, in the year of 1948, a Hindu extremist, Nathuram Godse, assassinated Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi for supporting the Muslims of India. History remembers Gandhi as the great proponent of Hindu-Muslim unity and interfaith harmony. Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning. This is Meritorious Online Academy and I am Vijesh Kumar. In today's video, we are going to discuss life and works of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi, who is generally referred to as Mahatama, Maha means great and Atma means soul. The great soul was the name given to the lawyer fighting for the civil rights of Indians in South Africa and protesting against apartheid in 1914. This man is also revered to as Bapu in Gujrati, meaning father. These both names are used for the man of exemplary simple life and who has left immortal marks on the pages of history. Born as a naughty child in the juvenile days, later turned into a shy young man lacking confidence to speak, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi has left eternal marks on the pages of history of subcontinent in particular and world in general. He was the champion of passive resistance and non-violent struggles for the attainment of due rights. History remembers him as one of the greatest men who appeared on the arena of the subcontinent and rendered life for the cause of the people. He was the center around which the politics of India revolves and the prominent and the most influential figure of the partition of India. Though after the creation of India, he did not hold any office but kept on influencing the politics and policy making of India directly. No act of government was carried out without his prior permission. He is unofficially called as the father of the nation. He was born on October 2, 1869 in the princely estate of Porbandar in the area of Kathiawar. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, was a Diwan, the chief minister of the state. Being very close to the court, special and intensive care was given to the upbringing of the child. His father married 4 times and Gandhi was the last child of his father from his 4th wife, Putlibai. As a student, he was an ordinary child. He was educated in mathematics as the community even in those days was famous for keeping the financial record. He didn't do extraordinarily well in the field of education. At a very young age of 13 years, he was married to Kasturibai, who was 14 at that time. The marriage was typical arranged marriage. He left for London and received the degree of barrister from Inner Temple, London. He studied jurisprudence and law. He tried hard to adopt the British culture but in vain. He returned to India as a barrister and started practicing law. But his practice could not be proved successful as he could not cross-question the witnesses and even could not muster courage to speak before the court. At many times, judges helped him to speak, but that too proved unsuccessful. He got an opportunity from Dada Abdullah and Company, a company in Natal, South Africa, then a colony of British Empire, to plead the cases of Muslim merchants in South Africa. Seeing no progress in the field of law in Bombay, he took on that opportunity and went to South Africa. In South Africa, he very minutely observed the conditions of native South Africans and Indians under the British rule, and these conditions shaped him into a perfect political leader. He stayed in South Africa for 21 years. After spending many years in South Africa, he returned to India in 1915 and was confident enough to address the public, which initially he was not. It was Gopal Krishan Gokhale who brought him to India. Then he attained the international repute and recognition as a theorist, political organizer, and Indian nationalist. Gokhale was a liberal leader and was then very popular among the public. He accepted the leadership of Congress in 1920 to 1930. He was thoroughly inspired by the works of American writers Henry David Thoreau and was inspired from his ideology of passive resistance. He too studied the works of John Ruskin and was too inspired from his philosophy. But it was the non-violence ideology of Henry David Thoreau that made profound effects on him. He became the symbol of non-violent struggle and practiced satyagraha as the political philosophy. He objected and abhorred all the forms of violence and asked his workers to believe in the power of soul. He exhorted them to encounter physical powers with spiritual power. He didn't stick to the policy of non-violence thoroughly and derailed from it many of the times. During World War II, he appealed to the masses to join World War as combatants, which shows his derailment from his philosophy of non-violence. He stuck to the philosophy of non-violence when it favored him and opposed the same when it was against the natural norms. Whenever he had vested interest, he adopted for the non-violence. During the Khilafat movement, Gandhi stood by the Muslims and was assigned the task of chalking down the roadmap of the movement, and he came up with the idea of civil disobedience and non-cooperation. He left the support of Khilafat during the ripe time when the movement was very close to achieve its aim, if not the restoration of Khilafat, at least the honorable solution of the issue was to be carried out. Only after the incident of Chora Chori, he alienated himself with the non-cooperation movement and segregated the Muslims. As Gandhi quit non-cooperation movement, Hindus obviously left the same and Muslims were left alone. If he could support British in the war, which itself was an example of worst violence and where millions of the people were butchered like hay and grass, he could have supported Khilafat movement, which only led to the loss of 21 lives of the policemen. Evening prayers. He was a complete paradox in himself. He, in his English newspaper, Harijan, the name which he has given to the scheduled caste, he cursed the caste system and projected himself to be the real champion of equality. Whereas in his Gujrati newspaper, he exhorted the caste system by saying that the caste system is the genius of Hindu society. He always manipulated religion for his political motives and moves. He never made any deliberate effort to eradicate the curse of caste system, rather supported that. In order to win the favor of massive population of scheduled caste, he gave them a new name, Harijan, the children of God, which too came under the severe criticism from all walks of life. He denied the right of separate electorate to the scheduled caste and went on hunger strike, fast and to death, his tested and tried undemocratic blackmailing tool to get his demands approved for 21 days. He refused to support the untouchables when they were campaigning for their rights to pray in the temples during 1924 and 1925. This strike made Bhimrao Ambedkar shun the due demand. While commenting on the personality of Gandhi, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar called him an orthodox Hindu in an interview to BBC in 1955. He further kept on saying that his stance of touchability had a political motive. Recently, an inspirational writer and social activist of India and the writer of fantastic novel The God of Small Things said while quoting Gandhi that Gandhi said that the hierarchy of caste system should be maintained. In the year of 1932, Gandhi collected 1 crore and 32 lakhs in the name of Tilak Swaraj Fund, which was collected for the use of Dalit. However, he didn't spend even a single penny on Dalits. He even didn't open a single door of the temple for untouchables, even in his own province, Gujarat, rather supported and strengthened the caste system. He never supported the cause of Dalits before partition. He used to say that President of India would be a woman, not only a woman, but she would be from the lowest untouchables. But as the freedom came, he forgot his province, and we all know that first Governor General of India, the portfolio equal to the president, was given to Lord Mountbatten, and the Prime Minister of India was given to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who was a Hindu Brahmin. The famous historian J. Adams, in his historic book Gandhi, The Naked Ambition, has revealed the harsh realities of his personal life and his treatment with his wife. He used to beat his wife frequently. Many of his moves were extremely undemocratic. He enjoyed authoritarian attitude over the proceedings of Congress. He never tolerated anyone surpassing him, and he wanted all the men to move on his fingertips and guidelines. He parted his ways with the great and talented and realistic man of courage, Subhash Chandra Bose, and forced him to resign. He claimed Subhash to be like his own son, but on the other hand, he promised British government that if they found Bose, they will hand him over to the British. He was very obstinate in his political intentions and exhibited in zero tolerance and was thorough, inflexible man, and has always meddled with the affairs of the government, which was not a job of his. He kept up influencing Congress throughout his life by one or the other way. He did not let Congress work independently. Whenever he saw that undemocratic voice was not being heard, he went on his tried and tested tactics fast and to the death, and put emotional pressure on them, and he manipulated the same to the maximum throughout his political career. He considered him and the Congress as the sole representative of the people of the India, and have always objected the existence of Muslim League. He could have saved the life of Bhagat Singh if he didn't sign Irwin Pact unconditionally. He here became very much inflexible to the policy of non-violence, as according to him, Bhagat Singh advocated and adopted the policy of non-violence. One of the other factors that brings Gandhi against Bhagat Singh is his overwhelming mass support, and who could rise to the stature parallel to Gandhi. He, though adopted myriads of ideas of Bhagat Singh, and the idea of complete sovereignty was adopted by Gandhi from Bhagat Singh, as initially Congress has asked for dominion status. It was Bhagat Singh who preached the complete independence and asked for it vehemently. Though he went many years of his life in jail and enjoyed the absolute command over the affairs of state, despite all these things, he had many achievements to his credit. This man was shot dead by a Hindu chauvinist, Nathuram Godse, for supporting Muslims and asking for their protection on January 30, 1948 in New Delhi. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching us so patiently.